It's very satisfying for, just to see what these guys have put in to get there.
Number 23 in the country, CSU coach Jim McElwain and fans are thrilled.
That's right. After the Rams' big win over Hawaii on Saturday, they jumped into the rankings for the first time since 2003.
We'll break down this historic achievement and all the highlights from the game coming up on CTV Sports.
You're watching CTV Sports!
Good evening and thanks for watching CTV Sports. I'm the Travis Nick Green.
And I'm Patrick White Enslow. The Hawaii Rainbow Warriors made a nice little trip out to Hughes Stadium Saturday to take on the CSU Rams. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows for Hawaii after their long bus ride from the Big Island.
A bus ride?
The NCAA leading receiver Rashard Higgins was sidelined for the game with a sore shoulder, but that didn't seem to slow down this Rams offense. CSU got off to a good start, capping off its 75-yard opening drive with a touchdown here to Elroy's Masters Jr. Hawaii then pinned the Rams offense, where Garrett Grayson fumbled it. That's not what you're supposed to do, Garrett. And then it resulted in a safety, 7-2. CSU, that didn't seem to phase this offense, though, which just kept moving down the field, putting up 28 points in the first half. Hawaii gave the Rams some unneeded help, too, by turning the ball over 3 times in this contest. The Rams took this one 49-22, improving their record to 9-1 on the year.
Overall, there was good effort throughout the ball game. Thought we finished okay, and we were able to get a lot of people in the game, and that makes it a lot of fun.
Travis, this football team just seems to take care of business every week.
Absolutely. 9-1 now. It's electricity here in Fort Collins. You got to give credit to Garrett Grayson, who has been playing very well. Look at this stat line from that game. 13 for 24 passing the ball, 278 yards, 4 touchdowns, and of course what we've grown to expect from him, 0 interceptions, Patrick.
Big old goose egg.
That
and 4 touchdowns to 4 different receivers, which is also something to highlight without Rashard Higgins. And you got to think Garrett Grayson has to be one of the best quarterbacks in the nation right now.
You have to think so, but he was a snub for the O'Brien Candidate Award. 16 quarterbacks get chosen for this, and somehow Garrett Grayson was left off the list. He is 4th in the nation in passing yards. I don't understand how he's not on the list, Patrick.
Yeah, it perplexes me as well. As we can see here with Shane Carden, he beats him in passing yards, passing TDs, ties for interceptions, and has the better QB rating. And you just think by the numbers, Grayson has to be the better quarterback.
And Shane Carden from Eastern Carolina there. Grayson, if you look at this, is better in every which way statistically. And Carden, similarly, isn't from the Big 5 power conferences, but somehow he makes it and Grayson doesn't. It's kind of a question to raise up to those voters.
Yeah, and we saw a lot of East Coast quarterbacks on this list, not very many West Coast, so that was a big surprise as well.
Yeah, 2 quarterbacks west of the Mississippi on this list. The rest were on the east side of the Mississippi. That's got to show you a little bit of bias there.
Yeah, no West Coast love out there. So
no West Coast love.
That's a real bummer, but Garrett definitely did get snubbed in this one. And I think, in my mind, I think as well as yours, he is a top 10 quarterback, at least top 16, because there's 16 candidates.
You have to think he's played that well this season. The defense also really showed up to play in this one. They were stopping the run in this game, getting sacks, and forcing turnovers. When you look at this game, Keiko Woolsey, the Hawaiian quarterback, heading into this game, passed for 356 yards against a stingy Utah State Aggies defense that we saw here in Fort Collins earlier this year. And this CSU secondary held him to 16 for 47 passing the ball in under 200 yards with 2 interceptions. They really stepped up in this one.
Yeah, and I think it all starts with Aaron Davis and Max Morgan. They stopped the run. They shut down that Hawaii run game, and all Hawaii could do was really pass. And so basically that really helped out these corners who stepped up, had a great game, and they were able to come back from that inconsistent game they had in San Jose.
Stepped up huge. No points in the 4th quarter from this Hawaiian team. You got to give credit to that CSU team not getting complacent and really locking down, having their eyes set on making that top 25, because I think it took this blowout to get them into that top 25.
Yeah, and Aaron Davis and Max Morgan, top 10 all-time for Colorado State in tackles.
Yep.
And that is great to see. I think they really anchor this defense, and they're the staples. And you could say maybe even the captains. You could say other guys like Bernard Blake. But Max Morgan and Aaron Davis are definitely the two captains in my mind for this defense.
I'd have to agree with you. But there is one downside to this game, Patrick. Unfortunately, the Rams weren't able to sell out Hughes Stadium after the 2 straight sellouts against Utah State and Wyoming. Let's take a look at the attendance there. 77% of Hughes was filled up this game. It dropped a slight bit. I mean, it was cold, but you're living in Colorado, people. You expect the cold to show up to the game.
I know, and hey, this Hawaii team isn't that good, but it's got to be all that more entertaining. We got lots of offense. We got one of the most efficient offenses in the nation going on here at Hughes Stadium, so you think they'd want to see that, but unfortunately not. I think this New Mexico game will be great for CSU. Hopefully the fans come out and support, because that will be a big game for the CSU squad.
Especially after last week where New Mexico put Boise State on quite the run, almost pulled off the victory there that would have given CSU the first place spot in the Mountain Division of the Mountain West. So fans here know that at the game they gave updates of that New Mexico game. This is not going to be an easy game after this bye week.
Yeah, one of the best teams they've had in Fort Collins since 2003. So I think they definitely need to go out and give some top 25 support for this top 25 team.
Coming up, we'll break down the football game even more in our segment called By the Numbers.
And tonight, the men's basketball team is playing its first exhibition game of the season. We'll preview their season and what kind of success the Rams can expect this winter.
Stay tuned.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Welcome back. You're watching CTV Sports.
It's now time for a segment we like to call
By the Numbers,
where we break down the stats and figures of the CSU football team.
Our first number is 4,096. This is the number of days since CSU was last ranked in the top 25 in the AP poll.
Woo, Pat, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Been a long time and long overdue. This CSU football team, I believe, should have been in that top 25 possibly a week ago or even 2 weeks ago. They've proven that they can win football games in a nice fashion with these players that are so explosive. But those AP voters finally saw how good this team is, and they cracked that top 25.
And we know there's a bunch of polls out there, but one I'm really looking forward to later this week is a college football playoff poll who has snubbed any team outside of the Power 5 conference. So hopefully Colorado State can break into that top 25, and that would be a big accomplishment as well for this team that is really rolling right now.
Yeah. Our next number is 143. This is the number of pass attempts from Garrett Grayson since his last interception. Patrick, the sizzled veteran out there, Garrett Grayson, always making the right decision.
Oh, he is just rolling out there. No interceptions. That is great to see. He is getting efficient. He has been on those pitch count at practices, and ever since he got on that pitch count, he is throwing nothing but strikes.
Nothing but strikes, you could definitely say. And when you watch him out there, he seems really poised in these games. He had the injury last week against San Jose State, and he just seemed to be confident out there. Even if he's hurt, he's out there with complete composure, like the senior he is, and is just throwing strikes, as you said, to those receivers.
Yeah, and he's using his tools wisely. Next, we've got the number 196. That's how many push-ups the members of the CSU ROTC did during the football game.
Push-ups.
They do push-ups every time CSU scores to match how many points the team has. So, after a touchdown, they do 7. Then after the next one, they do 14, and so on for 7 touchdowns the Rams scored on Saturday. How about a workout for ROTC, Trev?
Rough day for the troops there, but man, I'm sure they were happy to do the push-ups for all those points. You gotta love it. The cannon going off, the fans were loving it. Watching those guys, I was standing by them for a while, and a couple of them were saying, "Take it easy, Coach Mack. Take it easy. We're getting a little sore over here."
I'd be saying the same thing, man. That is a lot of push-ups.
And finally, the number 74. This is the CSU touchdown percentage once the Rams get in the red zone. And Patrick, their opponents have a 58% touchdown percentage in the red zone. That I think you can attribute to those linebackers, Aaron Davis and Max Morgan.
Yeah, and being efficient offensively in that red zone. I don't even have to watch the game, and I know I can just close my eyes, and I can hear that cannon almost every time they are in the red zone. That thing is going off, and some games I feel like I'm just about to bleed out my ears. That thing is so loud because it shoots off every time they score. So, but hey, it's a good thing. It's a positive thing.
You got to sacrifice. You don't need to hear when you're 7. Just keep having those touchdowns go off.
Which its loss in the Sin City in the rear view. CSU volleyball continues to roll as they climb in the AVCA coaches poll, the number 9. These rankings come after a sweep of Fresno State on the road. The Rams tied a season-high 13 blocks. Even though the Rams played 3 close sets, they were able to out-hit and out-block the Bulldogs. CSU is now tied for the most wins in the nation with 24. The Rams look to extend their 2.5-game lead in the Mountain West when they head back to Moby this Thursday to face Air Force. It's good to see this team rebound so well after that loss in Las Vegas. Jeff.
Absolutely. It was a tough road streak there for the Rams. Going to 5 sets against San Diego State, which they were not accustomed to this season, and then losing to UNLV. Then now they're back on the saddle, back to their winning ways, and hopefully this can lead to them having a hot streak heading into the NCAA tournament, because we know that tournament is rough for teams, especially for CSU, who hasn't faced a highly ranked opponent in a while. So it'd be great for them to get some momentum headed into that.
Yeah, another positive. They went up in the RPI, which is great to see, which will help their postseason aspirations. And they went up in the rankings as well. So that's a good thing for this team late in the season to be going in the right direction. And as you said, get back in the saddle and hopefully host a regional here at Moby, which I think is still, you could still say they have a chance to.
Well, you've heard about our ranked football team and our ranked volleyball team, but basketball season is here now, and we'll let you know what to expect from this team and give you an update on their game against Fort Lewis tonight.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
Welcome back to CTV Sports. Basketball season is finally here. No, not the NBA. NCAA basketball, the one you all care about. The CSU men's basketball team is showing its stuff for the first time this year in an exhibition game against Fort Lewis tonight. Early in the first half at Moby Arena, the Rams lead 46-27. They haven't been shooting well overall, but Larry Eustachy's defense has held strong. Rams forward J.J. Avila leads all players with 12 points, 5 boards, while dishing out 4 dimes. Now, Patrick, what do you think we can expect from the CSU basketball team this year?
Well, we got lots of new faces, so I think a lot of the weight will fall on Daniel Bejarano, but I think he is ready for it. He is poised for a big season, and I think this team will fall from the 3 to 5 spot in the Mountain West, maybe a bubble team for the March Madness tournament. It'll be interesting to see. Chemistry is a big question for me. Hopefully, if this team can get good chemistry, I think they will do good things, and they will push that 2-3 seed more than that 5 seed, but lots of new faces, as I said.
I'm with you. I think this team's going to get off to a slow start because of all the transfers and guys going in. But you have to remember, J.J. Avila is returning and Daniel Bejarano. They have a year together under their belt. John Octius is lost, but you add Stanton Kidd, a 6'8" guy, very lengthy transfer who has a lot of talent. I think this team could surprise some people and sneak up to that number 2 spot in the Mountain West. But I would say in the middle of the pack, but it could wind up happening number 2. I think the talent's there to pull that off.
Yeah, definitely. And teams like UNLV and New Mexico, UNLV getting a quality recruiting class like they usually do. So they'll be very stiff opponents. And if this team can play well on the road, sometimes with these younger teams or teams that haven't been together very long, that's a challenge. So hopefully they can play well on the road.
It'll be interesting to see how this Mountain West shakes out. There have been quite a few changes with teams' personnel, the players. So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. Well, that's all the time we have for you tonight.
And I'm sorry, folks, I misspelled the game earlier. It was in the first half, but it's actually early in the second half again. The Rams are up 46-27, and that's all the time we have for you on CTV Sports.
Be sure to tune in next week as CTV Sports reporter Rachel Vigil brings an inside look at the CSU swimming and diving team.
And, of course, we'll have all the highlights from the basketball game this weekend that you won't want to miss.
And in the meantime, you can always check out our website at collegian.com for all the latest in CSU athletics. Have a great night.